Hi, this is Joe from Cloud Design Box. Let's take a look at some of the updates in Microsoft Teams assignments and Class Notebook that you might have missed this month. If you find this video useful, then please give it a like. If you would like to keep up with some of these updates going forwards, you can click subscribe under this video for more. So a really nice improvement that has been added into Teams assignments is that of providing feedback, and that feedback not being visible to the student until you return it for revision. So previously you could at any point jump into the student's work and you could select the work, for example, and use this little shortcut here to add comments and tag that onto the work for the student to work on. Now previously the student would see that immediately. If they opened up this document, they would see these comments appearing. So now Microsoft have just changed it so that these comments are private to the teacher until you navigate over to here and return it for revision. So this is a great improvement and you may not have spotted it. One extra little tip that we would recommend if you're doing this is just to date any feedback in the feedback here and then keep that as you send the work back and forth to the student, and then you've got a log of them going in, working on your improvements. So the feedback box is really handy here as well. So now I can return that for revision and the student will have access to my comments and they can have a little go at improving the work. This month we're also seeing some big improvements on assignments and particularly how the grades come through with assignments as well. So here we are in a class team again. We're going to go to the grades tab on the left hand side. And you should start to see, particularly if you use assignments a lot, you are now getting a class average grade across the top left here. So we can click on the class average and it gives us a bar chart so we can see how the students fit on that distribution. And we can also look at that trend over time as well. This average bar will go across the top, so if we have an assignment that's been set, we can also drill down into the average grade for each individual assignment. Here we can see for this project here, we have an average of 74%. If we click onto that 74%, it again will load up a bar chart, but it will compare it for this project versus the average grade for all assignments. Grades is now linked into the insight sections of Teams as well, so we can jump into the full report in the insights area from here, and you can drill down into even further information. So you can see at a glance at the top the average grade, which students have not viewed it and not turned it in, if there are any late submissions, and if you had to return any work for revision. You also get a brief overview of the assignment information, when it was set and when it's due, if you tagged it, whether it was a whole class assignment or a group assignment, whether you use rubrics and how many students were assigned to it. And again, you can see these distribution graphs underneath. If we go down further, it then gives us a student list. We can see all that data for each individual student. You can easily switch between different assignments by dropping down here. And you can, if you use the three dots in the top right, export all this information out to Excel to share or aggregate with colleagues as well. This is just the start of some of the improvements that are coming to grades and insights within Teams. For example, you will soon be able to see whether students access the resources which you attach to the assignment. So one new feature that has been added into the class notebook has been highly requested by teachers, and that is the option to delete in bulk sections from the students' notebooks. So what do we mean by that? If we navigate to one of the student notebooks here, you can see they have these predefined sections that you choose when you create your class notebook at the start of term. Some of them are predefined, or you can add your own sections, but teachers are finding as they go along, they might not be using certain sections quite so much. So in this example, we've not used quizzes in the class notebook. We've been setting them in Microsoft Teams as assignments with quizzes in. So what I want to do is delete this quiz section for every student in the notebook. So to do that, I can navigate up to the class notebook tab at the top of the screen, and we can go to Manage Notebook. So previously on this screen, you could continue to add new sections, but you weren't able to edit the names or delete them. So this new feature is here. The delete option is blocked to me. So if I go to add a section and then cancel that, you'll see that it now unlocks the option to delete. So I'm not sure if that's a little bit of a glitch to start with, and hopefully it will be a bit easier to use. But once you've done that, you see I'm free now to delete these different sections or rename them. So for quizzes, I'm going to click the delete button here, and it does say that everything in there will be permanently deleted. So if students have used this section, the work will be lost. Okay, so just bear that in mind. But if I press save now, again, I'm just reminded that any work in there will be deleted, and I'm happy with that. And I'm just going to delete. So now if we close the Manage tab and go back to the notebook and navigate back into one of the students' personal notebooks, we should see that quizzes has now been removed. So very useful for keeping those notebooks nice and neat and organized if you haven't been using a particular section.